Welcome to another episode of the Drive History Podcast. This is Brian Corey, joined as always by Jordan Stead.
Yep. I just want to do something a little different this time.
And
I figured that like as all these other episodes before have just been a lot of me being like, "What's up, guys?" But it's just, I'm hyped.
Bring the energy.
Bring the energy.
It's sunny out.
It is, yeah. Summer's coming. Summer's here. The need to buy a new shit box is real. I know we say this every episode, but it's getting realer.
I would buy something immediately, but I really need to unload my current ride. So if anybody wants a 2006 Subaru Baja, it's pretty sweet.
It's got a big 105 millimeter turbo on there too.
It goes wing.
It doesn't, but it has a small turbo on it.
It's also got a canopy that locks, so your dog won't go flying out the back.
I've never seen that, by the way, on a Baja before. It's an ARE.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's all paint matched and looks awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It's silver. A lot of people want to buy it on its own.
I bet.
I don't want to separate it.
Have you seen how much they're worth?
About $1,500. So it's not a bad deal. But I've also never taken it off the car in the entire time that I've owned it. And it's probably really easy, but I don't want to learn now because I just want to get rid of everything.
Sure. Although the one thing that I feel like would make you keep your Baja would be to put two Brat style backward facing seats in the rear.
That's actually not a terrible idea.
I know.
I do know that you had mentioned you wanted to buy the Toyota GR Corolla.
Yeah.
Is it Corolla GR or GR Corolla?
I think it's GR Corolla, but you can call it whatever you want to call it.
Did you see that story about the guy who improperly shifted and sent a piston through the engine or something?
The old money shift?
Yeah. Ooh. I think he hit close to 9,000 RPMs, ruined everything under the hood, and got a repair bill for $42,000, which is more than the base model of the GR Corolla.
$42,000, not $4,200.
Not $4,200, $42,000.
I don't understand.
Yeah. Apparently the engine replacing it cost more than the entire car. And it only had 500 miles on it. And the warranty will not cover it because they said it was user error.
Nice. I will not laugh at this because the minute you laugh at something like this, you will be doomed and some shit like this will happen to you. So I'm not going to laugh at it. One, it's not funny anyway.
No, it's tragic.
It is tragic. Wow, that's wild. You know how you can money shift though and not have your car blow up at 9,000 RPM?
Tell me.
You can own an S2000.
Oh.
Yeah. Or you could own anything else that revs 9,000 RPM.
An RX-7.
Lexus LFA. You would have been fine. I feel like the sweet spot for you would be like a fast, big, but comfortable cruiser that is modern. I could see you in like a big modern V8 Lexus situation.
That sounds fun. I always enjoyed the IS300s, like the older ones.
You know they made a wagon of that too?
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah,
what?
Super rare. Yeah. They were I believe they were automatic only. People roast me if I'm wrong, but they're pretty rare and they're very cool. And if you like an IS300, you'll obviously love the wagon version of it.
Because we all know wagons are the coolest thing ever.
It's true. It's true. That is insane, though, about that GR. I was 1,000,000% convinced that I was going to buy one of those, and I put deposit down, and I allegedly being the key word here, was the first on the list at a local Toyota dealership. And I kept calling them before the car came out. And they're like, yeah, you're right here. You're first on the list. Yeah, you're going to get the call. And then the car came out. Never got the call. And I called them back and they're like, oh yeah, there was never a list. I was like, oh, okay. All right. Yeah, it's fine. I guess I'll just keep my money. That's all right. Whatever.
Did you put a paid deposit down or anything?
I think I may have put like $100 down or something.
Yeah.
That I got back. But it was, I don't know what happened there.
That's insane.
I know.
Dealerships have such weird protocol and they just like want you to be excited about things you're never going to get. And I feel like there's always these high demand vehicles that are constantly coming out, but they never make enough of them for everyone.
Yeah. And also the thing about that car is, I mean, they're continuing to make it. So they've continued to another year and then another year, and they've come out with the Marizzo edition, which is another special edition of it. There's no shortage of these cars in actuality, right? Like they could make a gazillion of these things, no problem. People are paying over MSRP for these, like a lot of other cars these days, but I love them. They're cool. I'd love to drive one. I see them all over. I've seen probably maybe 3 of them locally. 1 silver, 1 white, 1 red, maybe. All awesome.
Are you a red car guy?
You know what? Funny you should mention that. Lately, I've been thinking, I kind of want a red car. You know what I'm into right now? Red trucks.
Okay, so maybe an old fire truck.
Exactly. No, I saw like a new Denali truck, like a red Denali truck, and it just looked so good. It looked so good in red. And I think it just goes back to what we've talked about before. Everything is so
Black
boring, literally black and white and silver, that when you see anything with a shade of color on it at all on the road, you're like, ooh, so cool.
I want it.
Yeah, there was this cool program that VW did a couple years back on the Golf, maybe other vehicles as well, but it was called the Spectrum program, and it's where you could literally pick a totally custom color for your car, and they would make a custom spec'd paint for you.
Really?
And I think there was like a handful of Spectrum colors, as they called them, that were super different. Like they're all these jewel tones and all this other stuff.
That's so interesting. That's really cool. I feel like that should be a thing at a lot of automakers.
Yeah.
People would really brighten up my day with their color choices, I'm sure.
Another cool thing, by the way, is very related, is Audi had this, for a couple of years, they had what people refer to as the Skittles era, where they made a couple of very bright, fun colors for Audis at the time, and they're super rare. There's like a bright yellow, a bright blue, I think it's Nogaro blue, Imola yellow or red or something like that, and then like a bright green or something. And it's really cool because those cars are not only rare, but when you see an Audi, which you typically see in gray or white or whatever, and you see it in this like searing bright rainbow of a color, very cool. They're fun collectors cars.
I mean, it's cool that these companies make enthusiast geared cars. Like they do these things for people who care what they drive. Not all of us are just driving Corollas.
I know.
But speaking of driving and prices, I was also looking at all the latest results of a certain auction website, and I was kind of surprised at how low everything seemed. And I can't tell if like maybe I'm just making a little bit more money these days, so things seem more reasonable, or if prices
big shot.
no, you know what I mean. Like we're getting old. I hope making a little more than minimum wage these days.
One would hope.
But I was just surprised at how seemingly affordable certain cars were. And I'm curious if you think prices are coming down just in the used car market, but also in like the collector car market. Some of the examples that I just ripped off of there, going way back, a Model T, fully refurbished, $8,600. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that a Model T was $25,000, but that generation of collector is obviously dying off. And so there's this, and they made 15 million of them, And so there's actually a lot of Model Ts out there still, and there's still parts available. And so they're kind of fun cars that you can get from the pioneering days of the automobile and cruise around. And for $8,600 to have some kind of parade pieces isn't terrible, I think.
That does feel low.
Right?
Yeah.
A couple of the other ones, there was a 10,000 mile 1991 Corvette that went for $17,000 about.
10,000 miles.
Just 10,000 miles. And so for 17 grand for a relatively new Corvette, so to speak, that seems like a pretty good deal. And C4 Corvettes are on the rise a little bit too. But even this seemed like a not terrible deal to me. I feel like you come across these super low mileage example vehicles that are 25, 30 years old all the time these days. And people buy them as investment pieces. It's like it's their 401k, but obviously, if you spent 30 grand in 1991 on a Corvette and it's only worth 17 grand now, it didn't really work out for you.
That's true. Good point. And then, I mean, I assume that if you're going to buy a car like that, you're probably not going to drive it. But if you are, you're going to have to turn around and immediately put probably brand new tires on it. Yeah. Every hose in the vehicle is going to have to be completely redone.
Yeah.
Anything that's decayed over time just from sitting, who knows? The gas tank is probably rotted out. Who knows what's going on, right? Like after that amount of time of sitting with only 10,000 miles of driving on it, it's almost probably a detriment at that point.
Totally.
Quite a long shot.
I would imagine, yeah. Anyway, as I said, making more money, but I'm referencing cars under $15,000.
Hey, you know how we are, man. $10,000 line, you know what it is.
The one that did stick out to me was a 2004 BMW M3 with 15,000 miles on it, and that went for 49 grand. And that, like looking at M3 prices, seemed a little higher than I would expect for
that seems really high. Although I think that's entirely because of the mileage.
Yeah.
You could buy a 04 M3 for so much less. Like well under 20 grand.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, yeah, I would think, or at least around there. Interesting. Yeah, I guess to answer your question overall, since the COVID madness of just whatever the hell happened, right?
Right.
I feel like the only thing I can really add to this is I do feel like more often than not, I'm having the experience where I'm browsing Marketplace or Craigslist and I'm seeing a car that suddenly is an actual deal.
Right.
You know what I mean? There was like a couple of years there where nothing like that existed. Straight up.
I know what I got.
Yeah. And now I am seeing like, oh, yeah, that's reasonable. Oh, the mileage is low. Oh, the price is right. Oh, it's not a rebuild title. Oh, it's like,
right.
I'm seeing, I keep seeing that lately. I've probably seen maybe a couple cars a week as opposed to several years of time in the past recently where that never happened. So yeah, I think in general, the realistic prices to some realistic vehicles are coming down. I don't think that like big time, well-known enthusiast vehicles are going to come down.
All the Porsches and everything like that are still $1 bajillion.
Yeah, the Porsche situation right now is I don't even understand. Like they weren't always like that, right?
No, this is a relatively recent phenom, I think.
I mean, I guess it makes sense if you're gonna price a car high, even if it's used, you would think it'd be a Porsche, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's one of those cars you can buy off the lot, sell it 3 months later, and it's worth 10 grand more. Like you don't lose money on a Porsche almost ever.
Yeah, I need to drive a modern Porsche.
Same.
I never have, and I want to real bad. I'm starting to get maybe it's this. Maybe I'm going, what's everyone so hyped about? Why is he so damn expensive?
We need to get back on the Turo game.
I know. Turo still not sponsoring, by the way. Appreciate you. I got a hard question for you today. A little surprise. A little lightning round question for you.
Ruh-roh.
I can either ask the question, let you think as I answer, or you can just try to just go raw, just immediately answer it. Ready?
Yes, maybe.
Okay. All right. You have the opportunity to buy your worst enemy a vehicle. You have to doom your worst enemy to a vehicle for the rest of their life. What is that vehicle?
Wow, what a question.
Yeah.
All right, give me 5 seconds. What's yours?
Okay, you ready for this?
You've been thinking about this. I want to know who your worst enemy is.
Well, so here's the thing. I thought of this question a little bit earlier, and I'm thinking to myself, man, that's a really hard question. And then I realized the answer immediately. And it's probably the last thing you'll expect, but let me explain. It would be the Mercedes AMG G63, which is a G-Wagon, right?
Right.
But it's the 6x6 version. So it has 6 wheels. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the deal. Not only is it a Mercedes G-Wagon, right? So expensive, crazy
Okay, so you're
vehicle.
thinking all sorts, like my thought immediately went to like, what's going to break down?
Well, I mean, this part of it, right? So we got a Mercedes G-Wagon. Not only is it that, it's an AMG, right? So you've already got the markup there. Then you've got the 6x6 side of it, which is, if you're unfamiliar with this, basically what this is, it's like a super SUV. It is a G-Wagon, but with 6 wheels, 4 in the back, 2 in the front. It has 6-wheel drive, by the way.
Jesus.
Which I didn't even realize until I looked this up. It has a 5.5 liter, 563 horsepower, 561 pound-feet of torque, twin turbo V8 AMG engine. It's got a 7-speed auto, and it's got all these crazy suspension elements to it that are just nuts. But anyway, the moral of the story here is not only is it an expensive luxury German vehicle, it's very rare, and it's so goddamn big you couldn't park it anywhere, right? So you couldn't take it anywhere. You couldn't get into a parking garage. You could never parallel park it. The gas mileage is probably like a half a mile to the gallon.
Perfect.
You probably could never find parts for it. And in general, you couldn't go anywhere stealthily, and it's loud. And, you know, you may think it'd be cool if you were my like worst enemy. You'd be like, oh, cool, I got a 6x6 forever. I feel like you get sick of it pretty quick.
They might just run you over though.
Maybe.
Yeah, but watch out. That's an interesting answer because you really took the whole idea of what it means to screw somebody and put it into one car. Like not just like this is not an unreliable vehicle. This is a car you could actually like drive a little bit, but it's going to be
it's a long
problem.
Game. Yeah. It's going to haunt you forever.
Interesting.
It's going to drain you financially, emotionally, romantically, physically, mentally, emotionally. You're going to be destroyed. And probably not too long after you take ownership of it, I bet.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't want one.
No.
Well, let me give you the short answer for me then.
What do you got?
Probably going to have to go with, I don't know that I have an exact car, but I have an idea of a car.
Yeah.
A car from a car company that no longer exists.
Okay.
Oldsmobile, Pontiac, Saab.
Okay.
Something that is getting rare. Something that is probably your favorite color of car, champagne.
Okay. Yep.
And just has a broken air conditioner.
Nice.
That's pretty much it.
That is like, that's true. That is aggressive. The broken air conditioner.
Yeah.
That's, oof. Yeah. That's true.
I think I would go with a 4-door Saab in some sort of brown color with a broken air conditioner. I think that's where I'm landing. Like from like 2008.
Yeah.
Like right at the end of Saab's run. And just, I feel like they weren't really trying that hard anymore.
Yeah.
Probably isn't going to be that great of a car. Not that fun to drive.
Yeah, and also to have like a semi-modern car without AC.
Yeah. And nowhere to get it fixed at.
Yeah, like my Miata had no AC from the factory. By the way, go ahead and roast me if you're listening to this. I actually bought my Miata thinking it had AC because it had the actual temperature gauge.
Had a blue sticker on it.
That doesn't count. That does not mean it has an AC in it. You could option it back then, right? And I didn't know that. Luckily, you could take the top off the car, so everything was fine. But that was such a hilarious, like, first time old car Miata owner thing to do, and like have it be a hot day with the top up and be like, oh, it's gonna be fine, and turn it to the blue side, and then be like, why is it blowing 110 degree air at me? So I absolutely played myself. But so I guess I feel especially affected by this like decision you've made toward your worst enemy. That is horrible. I hate that.
Totally.
Yeah, and it's not even a race car you're describing. It's a daily car.
Just a car that you have to drive and it's uncomfortable.
No go. Yeah, that's
maybe
horrible.
maybe the heated seats are stuck on all the time too.
Yeah. And they're leather.
Yeah.
They gotta be leather. Oh.
Okay. This is a great question. If you have a response to this, what car would you buy or force your worst enemy to buy?
Yeah.
Send it to us at contact@carsandcopy.com.
Yeah.
There's got to be some good answers to this.
Yeah, we'll rank the 3 shittiest that we get from y'all, and we'll present them. We'll present them next week. I think this is the way to go.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right, let's dive into a little bit of history, shall we?
Hit me.
May 21st through May 27th, and we're starting off with May 21st, 2003. Alejandro de Tomaso dies. You probably recognize the name, de Tomaso. He was a famous race car builder. Got his start in F1 back in 1957. And 2 years after that, he founded De Tomaso Automobili to build race cars, but quickly figured out that sports cars and road-going vehicles were more his thing. I'm sure you're going to recognize some of these models. And a lot of people are familiar with the big one that I'm about to name. But you've probably heard of the Vallelunga. Probably pronouncing that wrong because I don't speak Italian. And the Magusta. But in 1972, a year after Ford bought a majority share of this company, they released the Pantera, which was powered by a Ford V8. So you got this Italian-bodied Ford V8 vehicle, absolutely stunning. And it would be produced for almost 20 years, more than 20 years, 21 years, until 1991, or 1993, excuse me, with more than 7,000 built. So kind of a cool, interesting mashup with Ford providing the power plant.
Totally.
And getting this Italian
Is
sports
this
car.
the holy grail? Italian design with possibly reliable American engine reliability there?
It's up there, especially if you get the later models when everything was kind of just clicking.
Yeah. Beautiful cars all around. Like all the designs are so cool. And yes, it's so Italian. You know what stands out to me about these different models though? Is the wheel selection.
Oh, yeah.
They're hyper modern looking timeless wheels. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I feel like on cars, particularly in the 90s and before, wheels are really actually the kind of the fall point on a lot of older cars.
Sure.
There are a lot of beautiful cars that if you just put them on a nice set of wheels and they're older, it'll like immediately
Changes everything.
update the car.
Changes
right?
everything, yeah.
These wheels on these cars on the P72 and the Pantera are gorgeous.
So yeah, the P72, we're looking at a couple pictures here. That just came out in 2019.
Okay.
And it's after they relaunched this company and they released the P72 and they're only building 72 of them. And I don't know if that's in honor of the Pantera coming out in 1972, but it is also powered by a Ford V8, which is
The
pretty
Coyote.
wild. Yeah,
as
the
well.
Coyote. The Roush supercharger.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, you can throw a lot of boost at those. Okay, wow. Yeah, that thing is beautiful. Italians, man. They know what they're doing.
Apparently Hong Kong Italians. May 22nd, 1935. Luigi Fangioli drives a Mercedes-Benz W25 to victory at the Monaco Grand Prix, becoming the first driver to lead that race, flag to flag. And I know I'm not a big F1 fan. I don't think that you're a big F1 fan. I think we both watched that series, which did give me a little bit better understanding of the race series.
Yeah.
But I got the feeling from that this happens a little more regularly at Monaco now because the track is so narrow. So I think Luigi was really just setting the bar.
Brian and I were chatting the other day, and the moral from my side, I think, is that Drive to Survive, while a cool show and brought a ton of visibility to F1, I think it was a little bit of a bump, and I think we're rolling off on the other side. It was super hype. Everybody was talking about it. I think it introduced a lot of new fans to the sport.
Totally.
And it's a very cool sport. Who knows? Maybe I'll become way into it in the future at some point. It just doesn't hold my attention.
The actual racing.
Yeah, just F1 in general. Like
Yeah.
I think my brain says this is awesome. All the things about it are cool. Fast cars, cool watches, hot guys. We covered that in an old episode.
Well,
Very
especially at
cool.
Monaco.
That's right.
Yacht
It's
life.
very cool. And I feel my brain is screaming at me like, hey, you idiot. Why don't you like this more? And for some reason, it just doesn't capture my attention. Why?
I'm with you, but neither does hockey. So
Okay, fair. Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't know.
Why don't we like it? I feel like we should like it.
Because I feel like it's still just rich guys and cars going in a circle.
Yes, I think this circle part is actually really, I think you just triggered
And I
me a
know
little
that they're
bit.
not actually like on an oval track like
Right.
NASCAR or something like that, but I don't know. Yeah, it just doesn't click for me.
You know what it is? I think I just had an epiphany here as we're recording this. When there is a track that is repeated over and over and over again for me in motorsport, it becomes instantly less appealing to me. After the first couple times around it, I'm like, okay, I get it. And I think that's why NASCAR is the least exciting thing for me because literally, what else is there, right? Again, not hating on any of this stuff, just it doesn't like scratch that itch for me. And you know what does scratch the itch motorsport wise? Rally.
I was going to say
And
the Baja
rally.
1000.
Yeah, exactly. And rally is end to end,
True.
right? Every corner is brand new. The excitement's there. The fear is there.
Yeah, because there's 1,000 bystanders on the side of the road just like willing to get themselves killed for one cool photo on their iPhone.
Yes. And wow, okay, yes, I've just had this realization. That's exactly why. That's exactly why it's not exciting to me, at least past that first couple laps. And I'm like, okay, I get it.
Well, it's almost the same as running on a treadmill versus running in real life.
Totally.
Running on a treadmill is so boring. Running in real life, the scenery changes.
Yes.
Maybe you see a car crash.
Yes.
Maybe a dog comes up and licks your hand. You know, things can happen.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
No, you're totally right. That's a perfect analogy. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. All right, done. Problem solved. I get it.
Moving on. Never talking about F1 again.
That's it. The coverage is ending now.
Except 1977 on May 22nd, Janet Guthrie becomes the first female to qualify for the Indianapolis 500. So not actually F1, but IndyCar racing, somewhat similar. Anyway, shout out to Janet. We've actually talked about her before because she has had quite a career in motorsports. May 23rd, 1934, Bonnie and Clyde are ambushed in a stolen 1934 Ford V8. It's kind of weird to just have a shootout as part of this, but Clyde Barrow was totally infatuated with vehicles, particularly Ford V8s. So much so that he wrote a letter to Henry Ford to thank him for building them.
Sick.
Because they made great getaway cars, unlike Carrie's Datsun.
Throw back to the last episode if you haven't listened to it. Our friend Carrie had a Datsun that was used by a murderer. So go back and listen to that.
Do you want to hear his letter to
absolutely
old Mr. Ford?
Yeah.
While I still have got breath in my lungs, I will tell you what a dandy car you make.
Okay.
I have drove Fords exclusively when I could get away with one.
Yeah.
See what he did there?
Yeah.
For sustained speed and freedom from trouble, the Ford has got every other car skinned.
Oh my God. Wow. This poet.
And even if my business hasn't been strictly legal, it don't hurt anything to tell you what a fine car you got in the V8.
Who the fuck writes like that?
Everybody in 1933. What a letter.
Yeah, that's actually incredible. That's a badass letter.
Yeah.
I hope that's like
It's legit.
framed somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the Ford archives, like
my
stamped, received.
So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, shout out just putting a V8 in a car and then naming the car V8.
Pretty much what they did.
Yeah, I like that.
I think there was a model number, but I'm pretty sure everybody just knew it as V8.
What if cars were just only named after the cylinders?
What would you drive?
I don't know. I kind of like them all.
No, I mean, what is your Subaru?
Oh, currently?
A Subaru inline 4?
Yeah.
Or no, Boxer 4.
Yeah. Yeah. I think just the number. We just call it. Yeah, I drive a
Subaru
4.
4.
What do you drive? A 6. Yeah.
Also drive a 4.
What a boring world that would be.
May 23rd, 1989, Citroen launches the XM. Like the DS before it, the XM revolutionized suspension. What an interesting thing to be talking about. Combining the benefits of electronic control with hydraulic components, its cutting-edge system continuously adjusted the car's ride height and dampening characteristics to provide a truly unparalleled driving experience. These are words taken from their own marketing materials, I do believe. It ensued a silky smooth ride, remarkable stability, and precise handling, making the XM a class-leading luxury vehicle in terms of comfort and dynamic capabilities. I don't think I've ever ridden in a Citroen.
No, and this also is not to be confused with the brand new BMW XM SUV, which is the flagship SUV from BMW that, according to a lot of automotive journalists, fell completely flat.
Really?
Yeah, but interesting naming choice here.
Well, XM radio also fell flat. So maybe just bad choice all around.
It's a curse, the XM curse. Stop naming shit the XM.
I did put a note in here that Citroen has not been sold in the U.S. since 1974.
Yeah.
It would be fun to get a French car maker back here.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Also, this thing is so RoboCop-y.
Right?
Yeah.
I think what really does it in are these like moon dish wheels on
Yeah,
it.
those are sick.
Right?
No, that's the coolest part of the car.
Yeah.
Aero disc is what they call them now.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that. Now I kind of want one of these.
That didn't take long at all.
May 24th, 1998, Nissan announces the R34 Skyline, the 10th generation of the iconic model.
Boo. Just kidding.
Oh, we've had a couple of Skyline topics on here recently.
We have.
So we can probably scoot by this, but I thought it would be fun to look at what development themes were for this car. And this is coming straight from the manufacturer. 1, a bold design indicative of optimum driving pleasure. 2, superb driving performance that provides the best driving pleasure. 3, high-level safety supporting outstanding driving pleasure. And 4, enhanced environmental friendliness. I kind of think they just threw that last one in there for good measure.
Yeah. PR team was working overtime that day.
For real. But the whole thing here is driving pleasure.
Yeah. Wow. It literally says it 3 times.
And this is right out of the press release when they released this car.
It's actually a really bad press release.
I mean, it was like 6 pages long.
Yeah.
But
But I mean, that's just bad. Like objectively. Yeah. But it's awesome. It's driving the point home.
totally it drove the pleasure home.
Hey. Yeah. Okay.
The pure driving pleasure.
Yeah.
Speaking of Nissan Skylines and other JDM vehicles, I think we can take a quick moment to introduce our first advertiser, sponsor.
Hit him.
We're going to take a few minutes to recognize the Import Guys out of Ferndale, Washington, the premier importer of all types of Japanese vehicles coming straight from Japan, whether you want a Skyline, a Toyota Classic, a Surf, What do you want from Japan?
What do I not want from Japan? No, you know what I want? I want an S15 Sylvia. That's what I want.
There you go. You can get one.
It's true. I've actually seen a bunch of people buy Sylvias, really clean Sylvias, through the import guys lately, especially on Facebook. And every time I just angrily comment and yell, I want that. Why isn't that mine? How do I bid? How do I buy this? And I always get a nice message though, saying, "Well, you can right here. So if you're interested,
hit them up." Dylan Kane at the Import Guys. Just go to theimportguys.com. You can sign up. You can have your own profile to search the auctions in Japan. They're selling 50,000 cars a week over there. It's insane. So any car you've ever wanted out of Japan, these guys can find it for you. Theimportguys.com. They ship to all 50 states and around the world to whatever port you want. They will get you the car you want at a price that you want to pay.
And the other thing to note here is they're not hawking random vehicles that are already in the country.
And these cars go through thorough inspections. They do all the mechanical work when it arrives stateside. If it comes through the port closer to them, which is the port of Tacoma, they'll do the tires and the oil and all that and make sure that you're ready to roll in your new JDM ride.
Including K-Trucks.
So many K-Trucks.
So many K-Trucks. It's the new hot shit.
K-Trucks, K-Cars, K-Vans.
Yes. In fact, you know how I know it's really popping off right now? My buddy's wife, who has no interest in vehicles whatsoever, DM'd me the other day and was like, "Hey, have you heard of a K-Truck?" I'm like, have I heard of a K-Truck? I have noticed there's like a fair amount of reels and TikToks lately kind of poking fun at K-Trucks.
Oh.
But it's spreading the word really quickly because people are like, "Oh, ha, 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 look at this stupid little thing." But I think people are getting it, like the exposure is kind of like the no bad press kind of thing. This huge audience of people are being exposed to this thing they didn't even know is a thing. And now I think the demand is going to be going up.
Totally. And I think what people are realizing is they don't need a giant 4-door truck to do their stupid little yard work.
Totally. Yeah.
Or to haul groceries.
Yeah.
So get a Japanese car. They're generally low mileage and they're not incredibly expensive for a lot of these base model cars. You are going to spend 6 figures to get a Nurspec R34.
But that's okay. You can do that through the import guys as well.
Moving forward, May 24th, 2002, the Volkswagen Golf R32, the most powerful version of the Golf to date, debuts. It was the first production car with dual clutch gearbox, but that was only available in Germany, and it didn't come to the US until 2004. My friend had one of these, and it was terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
He just drove it with the pedal to the floor constantly.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way that you're legally allowed to drive those.
Yeah. And they're super front heavy, which adds to the insanity of them because they have this gigantic V6 in front.
250 horsepower, 3.2 liter, 24 valve V6. Just smashing, which was the same drivetrain as the TT at the time.
Yep. Some of them, yeah.
Which I did not know.
People consider it to be one of the best sounding engines.
From Volkswagen or ever?
Kind of ever. It's got a very iconic sound. Enthusiasts who are into that sort of thing would call it like the Chewbacca sound. It's kind of got this it's got this unique sound that is very Chewbacca-esque.
I can get down.
Yeah.
That would be a fun car. There's actually a guy at the museum. He has one, and he just parks outside the museum, and he just wrapped it in this baby blue color.
There you go.
But I think it's kind of weird to wrap one of those because they only came in 4 different colors. They're already limited production.
Yeah, black,
black,
blue, silver, and tornado red.
Tornado red. What color would you take out of those?
I'm on my red tip right now.
Red phase.
Yeah.
Red is such a driving color. Red is such a car color.
It is, yeah. Almost like to the point of cliche. But
sure.
I guess there's so few around now that it's almost not cliche and it's cool in a cool way and not in a cliche cool way.
I mean, I feel like if you went out on the road and counted the cars, you'd get to at least 20 before you got a red car.
What's the coolest VW coloring ever? I'll tell you, VW Harlequin.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's where every body panel on the cars was a different color.
May 25th, 1947, Hyundai Construction is founded following a series of expansions. Hyundai Motor Company came out of that, which we know today. And it was with Ford that they were able to produce their first car, the Cortina, which was released in 1968. We're always seeing these different partnerships and acquisitions and sales of different car companies. And it's so funny to see like who helped who supported what during what years. Ford helped them build their first car. And now Hyundai's probably one of Ford's biggest international competitors.
Yeah.
In 1975, Hyundai released the Pony, which was the first car designed and built from the ground up in Korea. And then they entered the U.S. market in 1986 with the Hyundai XL.
This Hyundai Pony may be the most forgettable automotive design ever.
Is that the car you're going to buy for your enemy?
No, because this thing will probably run forever. Who knows?
True.
If I studied this for 15 minutes, then closing my eyes, I couldn't tell you a single thing about this vehicle. I mean, there's not a single defining feature on it.
No, you're absolutely right. It is essentially a box, hatchback-ish.
Yeah. Even the fact that they tried with the 4 headlights.
4 doors, 4 wheels, 4 headlights.
They tried, and it just doesn't stick. Nothing sticks here.
I would drive it so hard.
I know you would. All 33 horsepower, whatever.
Yeah, and probably. Killing it. May 25th, 2021. BMW announced the 2022 BMW M4 Competition convertible with xDrive. I'm really into the xDrive thing. I had a BMW before. I want an all-wheel drive car. I feel like I can get like a BMW sedan or convertible or something with xDrive. I'm good for like a long time.
Yep. You know what the coolest feature of xDrive is now in these newer BMWs is? You can turn it off.
Oh.
So you can buy an xDrive vehicle and then you can turn it off and have it just be a full-on rear-wheel drive car.
All right.
And you can even dial some of them to a certain split to front and rear-wheel drive.
Interesting.
Not front-wheel drive, but I'm sorry, all-wheel, like where is the power going, essentially? You can dial that in cabin in the car. Wow. Which, I mean, to me, this is kind of an underrated thing that has come out, and I feel like people know about it, but if you really think about how incredible that is, especially in like a sports car like an M4, it's amazing, right? You have all the benefits. If you want to drive it in the winter and you need the all-wheel drive traction, bang, it's on. You want to go to the track in that same exact winter day and you want it to be rear-wheel drive, bang, turn it off. That's incredible. That's an incredible technology. I'm not an engineer. It doesn't seem like something that should be hard to do. You would have thought this would have been invented long ago.
Well, I mean, they do it with 4x4 trucks and things like that.
I don't think that gets enough credit that you can do that in these new BMWs.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That's a relatively new feature.
Yeah, I think right around this time, if I'm not mistaken, like early 2020s was when this started to get factored in, maybe late 2010s.
Dang.
On certain vehicles, yeah.
Also, do you think it's necessary? This car, for example, goes 174 miles per hour. Why do cars need to go that fast other than just the pure joy? I guess you get to drive them that fast if you live in Germany, maybe.
I think it's just a pure numbers dick measuring contest, right? Like the funny part is it reaches 155 miles per hour normally, but with the optional M drivers package, it can go up to 174. So, just in case you're banging up against the 155 frequently and you know that you should probably opt for the M drivers package. It's the equivalent of being like, I have 6 pairs of these designer shoes and not one, right? It's like, it's the same kind of feeling.
Totally.
But, hey, you got the money, do it. Why not?
Why not? I would.
Can't take luggage on a hearse, Spend it all, baby.
I like that. I'm going to put so much stuff in my coffin. May 26, 1923, the first 24 hours of Le Mans begins. When it came to a close, guess how many hours later? Frenchmen André Lagacé and René Lanoud were the victors. They drove a Chenard and Walker Type U3, covering 1,373 miles during that 24-hour period. For comparison, the 2023 winners covered 2,895 miles in a Ferrari 499p. So an extra 15, 16, 1,700 miles.
Ferrari 499p. Interesting.
Total race car.
Total race car. I haven't even heard of this. It looks absolutely ridiculous. Again, it's got the Hot Wheels effect, right?
Totally.
Yeah, total race car.
I mean, that's what all these cars built specifically for these endurance races or any kind of major sporting events. You'll see on here that I put this Toyota because I had no idea that Toyota was so high in the endurance racing game, and they won every year from 2018 to 2022 overall with the driving these hybrid supercars essentially.
Maybe you could doom your worst enemy to one of these. That would suck.
It's like, well, you got a $3 million car that you can't drive anywhere.
Imagine like trying to take your girl out to a date in like Baltimore or something, and you're just like hitting potholes that are 3 feet deep in a car that literally sits on the ground and is 14 feet long. It's like it can't stay in gear to save its life. It's got a fucking afterburner on the back of it.
For real, you're only allowed to go 200 miles an hour in this.
That's a pretty bad wish for a worst enemy.
That's pretty good.
It'd be horrible, and it'd be so hot in there. Imagine trying to get in and out of it. You probably don't even have doors. You got to take the whole.
Oh yeah, and you know the thing just smells like piss
to get out.
Yeah,
you got to climb out of a cage in a 75-point harness to get anywhere. It's amazing. Yeah, I might take it back. I think this would be the ultimate enemy car. Yeah.
May 26, 1927, the 15 millionth Ford Model T rolls off the assembly line. This is the same day that the Model T goes out of production after 19 years building the exact same car. Ford's only offering. It just had different bodies. Had the truck body, had the sedan body, had the convertible body, touring body, all of that. Same drivetrain. They built one car for 19 years. And there were some developments over those years to improve them and that sort of thing, but they were ages behind other car companies by the time they transitioned out of building the Model T.
It's interesting how that, though, is still the practice, right? How many vehicles can we make with the same engine and drivetrain and call it a different vehicle?
Right.
It's interesting how that was like from the get-go.
They didn't call it a different vehicle.
Yeah.
It was the Model T forever. But you're right.
Subaru.
The Crosstrek or the Impreza. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Or the WRX, or the Outback, or the
Dang, Subaru, what are you doing?
They're printing money on a 25-year-old engine is what they're doing.
Truth. May 26, 1962, the founder of Rapp Motorwork and GmbH, Carl Frederick Rapp, dies at age 80. His company would become BMW during his tenure there many years earlier. So, rip to the founder of Bimmer.
Motovac.
There it is.
There it is.
May 27th, 1937, the Golden Gate Bridge opens. You ever driven across it?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
A couple times. Once in a limo.
Heyo.
Yeah.
Fancy. Last but not least, May 27th, 2021, Toyota announces the Prius Nightshade Edition.
Go on.
It became the 11th model and the first hybrid to be given the Nightshade treatment. Available on the front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive grades, the Nightshade Edition comes in midnight black metallic, super white, or silver metallic, and featured black headlight accents, mirror caps, door handles, colored keyed rear deck spoiler, and shark fin antenna.
Toyota is particularly guilty of this, where they make trims and all it is like a color.
Total.
They're really bad about this, especially in the modern era. There's a Corolla Apex edition as well. It's literally the same thing, and it's just gold trim, like around the outside of the car. Gold. Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah, and it's what's even weirder is I've seen several of them on the road.
Oh my gosh!
But I don't know. This whole special edition thing that isn't a special edition is super whack to me.
Yeah, marketing.
Yeah, but does it work though? I don't know. Who's going in and saying like, yeah, sure, I'll spend $4,000 more on a Nightshade edition that literally nothing for the car. You could just buy a black version of this car and have the same exact thing. I don't understand that.
That's so true. And you keep calling it a special edition, but they made it with every car in their lineup, essentially. I feel like you just end up getting one of these Nightshade editions because that's the only thing that's left on the lot.
Yes, 100% you're right. That's exactly what it is. Because everyone comes in and goes, give me one of these cars. And they say, cool, would you like a black one or would you like a Nightshade? And the person goes, what is a Nightshade? And they're like, well, it's a black version, but it costs $4,000 more. And they're like, I think I'll just take the regular black version.
Well, there's also a fee for not buying the Nightshade version.
It's a $4,000 charge for not buying the Nightshade. Yeah. That's what they probably have to do at the end of the year. Yeah. They're like, look, please God, we'll give it to you for $4,000 off below the base model. We don't even care.
Way to go, Toyota.
We can't move this rigatoni special edition.
We need an Italian car company to just do like pasta colors.
Oh, it's genius.
This is a pesto colored. It's a marinara colored.
Totally. It'd be amazing.
Buttercream colored.
Love it.
I'm in. All right. That does it for the history. We're going to throw it back a little bit with this reader mail. somebody hit us up about when we were talking about the best car for your dog. And this is from Roy Sebring in Washington State. What you need is a 1971 to 1973 Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser, which you may know if you watched this That 70s Show. That is the wagon that the Foremans had. It was those raised viewing ports halfway down the roof, perfect for the dog to look out. It's got a V8, so you won't have any problem getting rid of all your excess cash, and it looks cool. You can get good drivers for under $5,000. I like where Roy's head is at.
100%. Interesting enough, this reader mail comes at a time when an article was just posted online about how Genesis is making a possible concept of the GV70 electrified SUV, of course, which I have obsessed over and talked about ad nauseum in the past, and I continue to do so. But basically, this is just the standard GV70, except it's an electric version, and there's all these extra add-ons that they're talking about, featuring everything that you need to pamper your dog and give it a comfortable place to relax. It has a Genesis branded dog cushion. It's heated. A wireless Bluetooth audio system allows your pooch to listen to music and noises that allow it to relax.
Wow.
Ambient lighting to give it a home-like feel while riding in the car. Non-slip surfaces. Vegan leather sidewalls. Safety harness in the back that attaches to an anchor point inside of the vehicle. It even has a pull-out ramp made of lightweight aluminum so your dog can come out the back of the car without having to jump down. And there's an integrated dog shower system with a 6-liter pressurized water tank, allowing you to clean them of any dirt and debris.
This is insane. I like my dog, but I don't
and a
like my dog
and a
this
hairdryer.
much. Oh, well, okay, that changes everything. Yeah. I'm getting it.
I think if they make this, I think our reader mail is wrong.
Ayo. Well, let's not forget Honda Element dog version.
It's true.
Did this in 2007.
And any Honda Element for that.
True.
For that matter. That is the ultimate dogmobile.
I think that might be it. Yeah.
All the seats folding up, hose the thing out, which you're actually not supposed to do, by the way. I think that's a myth.
Oh, really?
You could do it. It's not great, though. You don't want to do it.
Rust all the electronics.
And just, I don't know. I don't think it's quite that, ready for action in that way. You could do it, but it's it's more of a marketing thing.
Put it on the shower setting instead of the jet setting on your little
instead of that, go out and buy a $100,000 electrified GV70 and use a shower in that.
Yeah. Oh, right. It comes with its own shower. Yeah. Jesus.
Anyway,
what is this, Emirates?
I know, for real. Fly Emirates for dogs. Good episode. Digging it. That was fun. A lot of weird stuff in here. I like it. Make sure to respond on the socials, anywhere. DM us personally. Tell us, what is the worst car? What is the car that you would wish upon your worst enemy in order to give them the worst rest of their life possible? Spam the chat, spam the comments, DM me at Jordan B. Stead on Instagram and other socials. I kind of have the same name no matter where I go. And Brian, where can they reach you?
Instagram at Spare Change Multimedia. And your best bet is just to follow the This Day in Automotive History pages on Facebook and Instagram.
It's also time, like it always is. It is major share time, guys. Please share. That is the beauty. We love the likes. We love the comments. We love the reader mail. Keep that stuff coming. The real beauty here is the share. Please share us to your friends, to your family. Send them a text, send them an email, or just give us a repost on any of the socials where you're seeing this or hearing about this. We would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one.
Till then, drive history every day.
Bye.